down the game. All right, guys. Did Goody cook? Like, that's the question at the draft. How we do? Did he cook? Come on. No first rounder. Started with 8 picks. Ended up with 6. I mean, what was the most surprising pick for you guys in the draft? The trade smack. Listen, in fantasy football, I'm like, don't draft. You gotta draft for last. But they got the best kicker in the position we needed after his troubles last season. You know, I mean,
a little bit.
Was he hurt a little? I mean,
and like as we talked before we went live, and Derek can relate to this because like with the special teamers, they don't get on the field a whole lot. Right? So there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of nervousness, and because just like in golf, this is the one position where you got to hit it right. There's no mess up. It's 100%. But you only get this opportunity basically, if not for touchdowns, once or twice a year. You know, if it's a game-winning field goal, that's what I'm referring to, game-winning field goal.
Right.
But obviously, playing the team scores touchdown, there's no stress there. They just trying to get you the ball, you got your place order, and you're done. You're off. You're waiting for the defense to make another turnover, you're waiting for the offense to score another touchdown, and you're back on the for that touchdown, you're back on the field. So as a place kicker, your job is kind of uneventful on the sidelines and during the week too. They don't practice with it. The punters and the kickers are all kind of on their own, doing their thing. The practice, I mean, you can only, for about a 2-hour practice, Jerry, you can really knows this, for a 2-hour practice of you're making around. The place kickers, for 2 hours, what are you going to do for 2 hours? You can probably kick for 30 minutes. So it's just, you got so much time on your hand, right? Long story short of it, the button this thing basically is you have so much little time to do your job. And if you miss that one kick,
you got a lot of time to think about it.
And we know the town is going to be all over the speaker for the rest of the season until next year until he can redeem himself. So that's the unfortunate life of a special teamer, I think, kicker / punter. Because sometimes they're the same person. So kind of answer your question there.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, that's what I always say. It's the one position I would never want to play because you're on the sidelines and you don't matter. You got a lot of time to think. And then all of a sudden, you're the only one that matters. And that's pressure. I mean, the NFL, you got to feel pressure when you're out there when you're carrying the rock. But the kicker, that you got to have nerves of steel.
I mean, there's pressure, right? But just learn how to play with it. I remember my freshman year in Nebraska, coming out on the first game of the field in Stillwater. And in the back of my head, the night before, I was more nervous than anything because I'm worried about being on ESPN.
Right.
But I thought Coach Solich grabbed me and said, "Come on, you okay?" He kind of noticed I was kind of, sweating. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous." He was like, "Well, let's talk about it." And I'm like, "Well, it's like this game is on TV and never TV before. I was in high school last year, like this, that, and the other, right?" So he's like, "All right, well," he said, "just you being nervous is just the body telling you that you're ready, like you know what's about to happen, something serious, important, or fun, and whatever." And I'm like, "Thanks, coach." So kind of settled me down, and then the next day we came out, and also like. I got Clinton Childs, Damon Big, and then Jason didn't meet on the depth chart. So there's no time. I thought we were going to get on the field until third or fourth quarter anyway. And like this guy over here, he probably would have had 3 sacks in the first half against Oklahoma. He did really good. So, but that game, where it went, we were mad, but I didn't get it until the fourth quarter. And then now the game was won. It was already kind of decided. So I just kind of went out there, ran the play. It was an outside zone play. It was already kind of there. And I was relaxed. I had to go out there and try to win the game. That was next year and the year after that. But when that play was there, leading up to that, that's where everything kind of to the way and just go out there and play some.
Did that stick with you throughout your career in college and in the NFL that like the nerves just mean you're ready to play?
No, it went away. So I'd say after probably 3 or 4 games after that, it took a while because I was playing on the number 1 team in college football at that time. So once I probably right before the game I started, it was a Missouri game. It started. For that game, I think it was either Pacific or somebody or Kansas State. I think that's when all the nervousness kind of got brushed away. I was just like, all right, I'm in high school again. I'm top corner again, playing football, having fun with my buddies out here on the football field.
It sounds like a good time.
Yep. Yeah, we good. Yes, we're rolling, and so you can.
Okay, guys.
Yep.
All right, so we liked the draft picks. We got our schools a little. We didn't draft a lot of offensive players. We did get an interior alignment. I like it. Maybe a long-term solution at center. Also, great hair. It's just good. Look, you've got great hair or great hair. Both. Okay, y'all. All right, so I know we've got some Wisconsin people in the house. Anyone from Chicago out here? Okay, don't worry, he's decked out in green and gold. Okay, so how'd you become a Packers fan, my friend? I've seen you at a few of these Packers Everywhere pep rallies.
Well, they won in 2010, and my high school colors was green and gold. I went to Mike Tech, so I chose to root for Aaron Rodgers over Jay Cutler.
A great choice, I think. I think it's the greatest rivalry in sports, and it hasn't been much of a rivalry until these last couple years. But we'll get you guys back at Soldier Field. We will. So, all right, guys. Are we drinking? What are we drinking? We got some from Green Bay's finest. Here we got 3 sheets in the house, in the building. Oh, it's looking good. We are ready. You guys, we're going to have so much fun today. The grave digger himself, he's going to be joining us a little bit later. Gilbert Brown will be in the house. Now, who's going to Lambeau Field this next season? Anyone going to go to Lambeau? You want to? Okay, all right. I know this guy's going to be at Lambeau Field, the official DJ of the Green Bay Packers. And we got swag here. You got some Packers Everywhere swag. Packers Everywhere is the official part of the Green Bay Packers, and they donated this swag here to make Packerpalooza just a little bit brighter. The more green and gold, the better. All right? Okay, so what do you guys want to see out of the Packers this next season? Super Bowl! That is what I'm talking about. As I know, but Packers fans, we always Super Bowl or bust.
Yes, I do that every year, and I say to I have some Packer friends of mine, and I'm like, look, gotta start slow. So it's the new revamp team. I know this guy right here that said it. So I've seen him a while. How you been? Good. So I said. So wrangle the fandom because I know it's high right now. So we had the draft last weekend.
Yep.
I was there. Fantastic. Really spent time with one of my daughters. I have 4 daughters and 1 son. And before that, we had free agency. So you just got to think about it. Like, everybody that has a job, raise your hand, right? You have a job, right? You're a manager, you're a director, right? So just like Lucas, floor head coach, GM. So manager, director, basically, right? Matt basically manages the football, correct? Right? The assistant coaches, those are kind of meeting managers or everything. So now, let's imagine you give probably 10% or let's say 50% of your office got fired or left or retired. So that's the attrition every year. So now you bring it in 6 rookie kids from college level, right? So to your job, if you work at a bank, you work at a school, you're a police officer, a fire person, fire. I need to say the word.
We're with you.
Yes. If you get my drift,
You
you have to change over happen. Now these folks, they gotta get trained and developed in what you know as an expert, because you've been trying to do it for 10, 15, 20 years now, right? So, and now we have the football players right out straight for the game for them. So that time is then spent for those new players to get in the game real fast, right? And one thing that happens every year, unfortunately, to a quarterback is they get drafted first round and they get thrown into being the starter, which is like the worst thing you can do. You can do that's the worst thing you can do to any football player, but to a quarterback, like it ends their career before they get started, because they don't get developed. They just get thrown into the fire. With some quarterbacks will do that through their careers. We got all of that, area that were able to get thrown to the fire and make it through. But then there's other quarterbacks where you're like, this guy did this. And me and Jared are sitting here as who we are. We know, like, the kid had to learn, forget what he did in college. And then now think about the new offense. So with Coach Ford, they run kind of a West Coast hybrid offense with Jordan running right now. And now that group is coming that offense. And the same thing with defensive players. Defensive, linemen, linebackers, safety, they got to learn what the coordinator run. And now it's a new 3-4 front coach coming in from Arizona. Again, that runs that type of defense. And then you're looking at a different linebacker. You're looking at more of an agile, getting off the ground linebacker and making sure they run fast and they can cover the flats and not just rush the quarterback. So you're looking at a whole different athlete. And that's one reason where, unfortunately, I was going to bring it up, or we'll get to it now, that Rashard Gary's point, because he saw the right of that coach doesn't run what I do. I rush the quarterback. That's more where I got to rush the quarterback and go to the flat, and cover the flat, maybe cover a running back. I'd rather say quarterback. But that's just, he knows where he's at. And so that's where the change of it's going to be interesting for the guys, and it's going to be a little adjustment for the guys in the city there that's on the roster to make sure they adjust and learn. That we all went through that. New coaches pop up, high school, college, pro. It's all about what scheme they're running. So that manager comes into your department, and they want to run your department totally different what you already learned when you're at the bank, at the school, or at the fire department, or the police department, wherever. So that's the thing that I think doesn't get shared a lot. It's not just football, but it's sports.
Would you say that's the hardest part for a rookie coming into the NFL, or is there something else?
It could be the hardest part for a different position, and it depends on like the players, how much time they got in college to play.
I feel like it took about a year to make that transition between college and pro. Yeah. When the game starts slowing down, it's about a good year.
We're back. I'm your listener there. Oh, there you go.
Let's give Jared Tomich the mic. Give it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in between with I went through that at New Orleans. So I got to New Orleans in '97 with Coach Rika. You guys remember Rika came back in. I was in the first draft class. Being in this area, that was incredible. So I got to play for Coach, and when he got fired, a new coach came in. They want all their own people. They want all their own guys. So it's a big deal for especially for young guys. I was old at that time, so I was able to blend in with that transition. But there's a lot of stress.
Yeah,
it's fun.
That was our thing. I'll say that's part of it, like the trade-off. Right? part of the game that we traded off of. We losing the games, getting hurt, and new coaches come in. You know, you talk about you get drafted, nigga comes in, and he gets fired. I get drafted. Yeah, after my first year, then Dennis Erickson is my head coach. My second year, Mike Holmes is my head coach. And then my third year, I get traded to Green Bay. So in 3 years, my life changed. You know, from college to Seattle to Dennis Erickson to Mike Holmgren, who all you know, boom, Green Bay with Mike Sherman and later on too. He was there for about a year. Yeah, you know. So I'm not complaining, but that's an athlete's life. A professional athlete's like all 4 sports, NBA, WNBA now, WNSL, women's soccer, MLS. That's what happens. And it's the things. Just think about yourself. Put yourself in my shoes, or their shoes, or in your favorite athlete's shoes. And be like, man, could you still be the best person you that on the diamond, on the baseball field, or the basketball court, knowing that, man, I just got traded, and my agent didn't even know, right? And now I got to move. Okay, what elementary school my daughter gonna go to now? And what neighborhood we're, you know, it's all the same thing. From the transitioning from one job to another, I say that part doesn't get mentioned a whole lot.
I heard some guys that they literally got getting traded on the ticker at ESPN. That's crazy.
That was this guy here. Same thing. I was at my daughter's 5th birthday party, flipping burgers and hot dogs. My dad calls me up, said, "Son, you're a Packer." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm in." I just talked to Coach Homer, and he gave me a good, year review. Said, "Amon, you transitioned, you learned this offense. I could keep pushing Ricky Waters to use the script time." And I'm like, so that's in my head. I'm like, no, I'm not. He said, "Go inside." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Your daughter's birthday, your granddaughter's birthday. Happy birthday." Go in and turn on the TV. On the TV, it's ESPN. Trey Greenville says, "Amon Green traded to Fred Vincent and a 5th-round conditional pick." I'm like, "Dad, let me call you back." Call my agent. "Hey, Joby, my agent's like, I just found out too, Amon." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I said, "That's how it goes." And this is my second year. After my second season, going into my 3rd season, so it's this thing that you gotta be ready. I say, yeah, you gotta be ready for the best thing you can. That's about it.
What were your expectations of what it was going to be like to play in Green Bay versus what it was actually like?
I didn't.
You didn't have expectations.
I didn't have none in Seattle. I kind of looked at it as coming into Nebraska. Like coming in my freshman year there, they were already a national title team. So wasn't much I knew I wasn't going to do right away because Lawrence and Charles were in front of me. So I was like, learn the offense real fast, be a good teammate to my teammates. Be available for my teammates, be available for my coaches. My coaches need, like the coaches or just get practice, be like, "Hey, we need somebody, I'll run out there and do it." And so I remember even Coach Sewell asked me about special teams my freshman year. "Do you want to play special teams?" I said, "Yeah, I kicked off return in college, in high school. No problem. I'll do that." And the same thing happened once I got to Seattle. Like I wasn't the starter. I wasn't making $5 million a year at that time. Ricky Waters was. So I'll do 4-4. I'll do kickoff returns, punt return. Jared, the same thing, right?
No, even further in my career, I was in Green Bay. It was the statistics. So I was the biggest guy in the NFL at 315 pounds.
Yeah.
I'll never second of it.
Yeah.
Just rolling, tumbling down the field.
Yeah, we were those guys. I can remember. We were that was the last generation of the Red Bus team that obviously, because they're now thinking about taking care of us better, right? So they took that out of the game because yes, it was detrimental. Really, what's up, man? It was detrimental to our health. we knew, I knew, because I'm running down, hitting guys. He's same height, but a little bigger. 315, 320 coming at me, and I'm 215. But Yeah, and they're 100 pounds lighter. But if you know science, right? 1 month you got an object just standing there, you got this other object moving towards them. That's physics. That object's gonna win, but obviously it's not good. But that was again part of our job.
We have done lots of things.
A lot. Yes.
Yikes.
Yes.
And Amon, you were even trying to kick at one point. You were trying.
I think, like when I got to Green Bay, like I said, be available.
You were ready to do it all.
I told Bruce Sherman I would punt. And this is after like my first year in Green Bay. And he's like, "You gonna do what? No." He's like, "No, you're not gonna punt." I feel good for that. I'm like, "No, I punted in high school. I was 40.5 record. There you go." He's like, "No, go. No, don't talk about that."
I think he was right because your career went pretty well in Green Bay. We wouldn't have wanted to doing anything differently.
So I know we talked about we're gonna get some fans talking here.
You want questions from them?
Either way, which way?
You guys want to answer questions? You want to ask some questions to Amon Green and Jared?
I'll say let's start first. We start the warm up, which y'all asking me and Jared.
Okay.
First.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Then we're gonna start going back at y'all.
What questions do you have for the Packers all-time leading rusher? Packers legends. You guys got something? Billy, you know this man. You know.
They're pretty much family.
You can ask some questions, some personal questions. Just blow them up right up there.
Oh, you know I'm coming down there on the 18th, right?
Yes.
I need a place to stay.
Question. And that wasn't even a question.
Yes,
that was a statement.
You're at our house. I live in Houston now. I don't live in Green Bay. So I got out of the cold weather. Yes, it's cold. So we made a transition. So we've been here with my wife living in Houston, Texas for almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in August.
Oh, you got a question? What's your name, my friend?
Russell.
Okay, Russell, where are you from?
Sales. An hour from Chicago.
Okay, now what's your question?
What's the most rushing yards you had in a season?
The most in the season. So at the Packers was 2003 since 1,833 or 883. Excuse me.
83.
I don't even know.
Well,
Okay, so that's why I don't care about the only stat I worry about. Thank you, Paul. I'm just scared. Thank you. Bam.
Really coming through.
Really doesn't. That's what
Stacey did it.
with the limit squares.
They really want a place to stay
Yeah,
when they come to Houston.
Very humble. I don't know for most guys. I know I'm close to it, but it was the 8,000. It was the 2003 season. We were on offensive line. Those guys helped me out, spread out. And it was the one season. Not only did I have the most rushing yards in my NFL career, we set a record for Brent not getting sacked. He only got sacked 19 times that year. So that, for me, I was more proud of that. Because we knew we all know how important our quarterback is, right? And along with the run game, right? It's a problem. Derek played on defense. He can explain when if it's a quarterback is hot and a running back is hot. Like that is not that's the tough recipe, right? Right.
It's a bit one-dimensional. We're okay. It's going to be a game that they have passing. Now we're working on that.
Yep.
It's going to be when we play Detroit. We knew it was a game of running. They're saying
I just hope we're stay in one place. He'll come back to you.
All right, we've got Kathy. She's a Packers fan from Chicago. She has a question.
So kind of twofold. What was it like being in the tunnel, going out to Lambeau? I want to know from your experience. And then what was your hype song? Did you have a hype song that you listened to? I'm curious as to what that was for you.
I'll say one. The second question I'll take first. I didn't have a hype song. We just came out as a team mostly. And what was the question?
What was that experience like for you? What was the energy?
So,
what was,
I'll say this. I had several different experiences in the pros. I said, college was probably the best. that's where I'm gonna leave that here. I'm gonna finish this question and then I'm gonna pass it. So coming out of Ambo for the first time, we were in North Stadium at the time. And of course, it was like, wow. It was like this cool. I'm playing for the team that is recognized like if this was baseball, they would be the Yankees, right? This is the team of teams in football, and I'm down running the block. It doesn't get better than that. And then I'll flash back to one time in Seattle, coming out of the Kingdom, and one of my teams coming out of the Kingdom in preseason ball, and the defensive lineman, Brady, I can't remember his last name. His first name was Brady. Great guy, nice guy. But what I didn't know about it is that when right before that tunnel, like I'm excited. I'm just coming out of Western, and I'll explain, Jerry's I'm just on the peak up. All of a sudden, I hear somebody basically throwing up behind me and on the back of my leg. I'm like, what? He's like, man, I'm getting nervous before I come off the tunnel. I'm like, oh my goodness! So I have little people in my teams. Like I said, Jared, explain our tunnel walk at the University of Nebraska. I was like,
Yeah, we were very fortunate to be right where we were. Like for me individually, I was 47-3, my record at the university with 2 national championships, and we really in those years.
Yeah.
And then a lot of teams started doing that after. So for college, you were so hyped up that you'd actually be exhausted before the game started. Yeah. And they call them so jacked up that you could get it. Started on the sideline.
oxygen.
And it was like that in Green Bay too. Because there's so much tradition and there's just such an exciting place to be. For me, that was my out of the 14 they're still our favorite because it was just they treated everybody so well and their fans were so electric. It was just pounding. And I the experience that I don't think there's another team that is close to
There's a few maybe. That was awesome. That was awesome. We're gonna start asking you guys. Ready? Ready for some questions here?
All right, we got Dan from Wisconsin. Originally, he lives here in Bears Country, but it's Packers Country here at Wills. Okay, what's your question, my friend?
2 questions.
Yeah.
Who was the hardest hitter you played against? And number 2, who was responsible for the rubber arm pads that won Monday night in Philadelphia? Who was rating?
Okay, so the responsibility of those, Daddy, equipment manager, where I would grab them, and Dorsey won too. So I ended up talking to him and had first on. So Dorsey, they work good and rating and all that. He's like, yeah. And then I had the other ones too. That kind of like on the forearm, up on my elbow, and that was more for just hitting. They looked cool, but that was just that was because I wanted to hit a bear and knock him out and stuff like that. Things of that nature. So, but there was no red batting, and like I said, it's to help. I'll tell you a quick little story too. So by the middle, my first year, I became a starter and running the ball and all that stuff. So Coach Sherman, great guy, and he started with nervous dad coach at the pro level at that time. So once I started wearing the badge, and he never see like sometimes I'll come out of warm up without come on, you're putting on the badge, right? I'm like, yeah, we're good. He's like, all right, this is with you. And so he would be nervous because he would, and that's because the old coach, Mike, when I was in Seattle, he mentioned to the media that I fumbled the ball sometimes, I'm a fumbler. And so like that going, I was the second-year player in the league. This was a Super Bowl winning coach. So how you think that dynamic works for me in Seattle and coming here? Because it's still people talk. Oh, he's a fumbler and all that. I'm like, good. Quarterbacks throw interceptions. running back sometimes over the ball. Sometimes the defenders, I mean, these guys, that's scary. They have individual practices, but stripping the ball. But trust me, I'm not here like, oh, here's defense, here's the ball, here you go. You know, so it happens, you know, and that's the one thing, and that's another thing why I'm in Green Bay. So with the whole trade of me to Green Bay, Ron Wolf brought me to Green Bay, who wasn't at that time. He actually brought that up years later because he knew my comfort. He said it was crazy. We're connecting flights in Detroit. We're on the same flight coming into Green Bay. Me and Ron Wolf. And he says, you know what? So what I just mentioned to y'all, I told him that whole story. He said, yeah. He said, I knew Holmgren had that little, he put you in his doghouse. He said, when he did that to you, I was excuse to go. He said, so that when I knew that, I said, I knew I could get you. And so that's why I traded for you and got me in Green Bay. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, blessing in disguise.
It was. And so it was like, some coaches have that about, right? They could be like, oh man, he's too tall. Those too many interceptions, or he doesn't throw a ball because his deep ball doesn't look pretty. It'll be something like that. A coach will let a guy go for or trade for a guy.
Oh, yeah, I was too short to play defensive end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I had multiple coaches tell me 6'2" is not calling.
Right. And if you watch this dude in college, oh my God! I remember my freshman year, it was pretty much every game. But I remember one game in particular, the K-State game. I thought he decapitated Chad May. He was the quarterback for K-State at the time, and he came in so fast. I mean, Derek came in so fast on the sack. I was like, that dude's dead.
That's not good.
Like, I'm watching the highlight, and I think, oh! I'm like, good gracious. I'm like, I'm on my team.
Yeah, period.
That's the last season. So, you know, it's stuff. It was crazy. But to my point, that's from football coaches, the basketball coaches, the baseball coaches, they'll find something if the GM says, hey, what do you think about this player? And it might not be the fact that they are a bad player. It might be the fact that 2 inches too short or too tall. Or whatever. And we find that out through the grapevine, you know, as players. Like, why did I get traded? Oh, we got traded because you were 2 inches too short. You were 5 pounds too heavy. Whatever. Like, okay. All right.
We're glad you got traded to Green Bay. Okay.
I know you didn't get a ring, but you were 1 year away from that when you finally retired. Like 2009?
Yeah.
How does it feel like you were so close if you would have just stayed on 1 more year?
Well, I tried. No. So what I did, so 09 was my last season officially with the Packers. So 2010 season, I went and played in the UFL. Remember they had the Omaha Nighthawks. And so I was like, I signed up. One of our old coaches, Jeff Jackson, remember him? He was the head coach for the Nighthawks. And so I went back there to play for them to stay in shape. Because I knew if I stayed in shape, then their season ended like a week before Thanksgiving. So it was a short season. And so the NFL obviously goes to December and January. So I'm like, if I played this season, my plan was stay in shape, have a good season, which I did. I did get hurt. I rushed for like 800 yards in 8 games, something like that. And I thought that was opportunity. I flew back to Green Bay the next week after we played our last game. Went to Ted Thompson's office and talked to him and said, hey, I'm available, I'm healthy. And they were like, it was November, so they're only like 4 games away. You know, it wasn't a great season. If you remember the Super Bowl year, it wasn't a great season. The Bears won the division. The Bears.
It was the Bears.
That year.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, at that point in time, didn't know, but they didn't know they were going to fail. They got in. So I went in knowing, like, if they go, at least I'm working on the roster. And Thompson said to me that he just wanted to keep inventory of alignment. Because they had Brian Balaga was beat up. A few other guys were nicked up. So he's like, I'm gonna use right now one roster spot for the offense lineman. So I'm like, well, I just told him, hey, I'm here. I just told him I was available. And he was out to me. So trust me, I was trying to get on that roster. I was trying to get on that roster. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Hi, I'm on great 99-yard run against the Broncos. My question is, my wife and I were watching, she likes these cheesy Hallmark movies during Christmas time. And so we're watching Wisconsin Christmas Pie, and then boom, I'm on Green is on there. So is that your acting debut? And how'd you get on there?
No, it was not my acting debut. I have been in a couple movies. It's like quick. If you blink, you miss me. And I find out Zack Snyder is born in Green Bay, raised in Green Bay. So the director of that movie, he's born and raised in Green Bay, then moved out to California, and that's how I got into movie making. And it was in a movie with Rob Schneider, who's yeah. Yep, he wrote a movie called Big Stand. It's on Netflix now. And so I had a little small role where I was kind of like I was an inmate in jail, kind of roughing him up a little bit, you know. And the funny thing is, I'm jokingly like the Batman character. I was another inmate. I'm like, wait a minute, what are you typecasting for? It's like, yeah, I was an inmate in Batman. I was an inmate in Rob Snyder's. I was like, hey, but. So just last year, I do another podcast called Believe in Packers. So follow, right, please. And it's a CBS, I say affiliate. They work with CBS. So somebody in CBS, her name is Katie. We stopped me. So Senator Katie, manager, we have this director that. In this for a movie on that comes on whatever it's rank channel. Yeah, I said now I'm like when where is it? They said, oh, we shooting it in York County in March. So this was last March in 2020. I'm like, yeah, and I said, babe, I hang up the phone. I'm like, babe, I'll be in the Hallmark movie. He's like, whatever, you know. So I go there and it was, fun time, and I only had a couple lines. I just stand there and just chill and be myself. I was a judge for it was a cherry pie contest. I wanted to be testing, the cherry pie out. So it was a great time. Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. That's a really good question. Oh, the fans are keeping score out here. They said that you didn't say who the hardest hitter was.
No, sorry. Yes. No, I wasn't saying. I didn't avoid content. I don't avoid content. Not that one. Actually, in Seattle, my second game there as a rookie, Max Strong, him, he was my teammate. He went to Georgia. He had two of his teammates come up to him. Played for the Houston Oilers. They said, "What's wrong with number 30?" They're like, "What?" They're like, "Man, he runs at us. He runs away from us. We're linebackers." They're like, "I'm no different, dude." So when I got to Green Bay, nothing. I said no biggies that are people in that division because I was AFC West at the time. They had different defenses. They were, obviously they were a football team at that time. Tony Beeland, our teammate, was on that roster. I wasn't afraid of Tony. I knew Tony. But when I got to Green Bay, I remember Dorothy sitting in meetings one day, against the week, we were playing Tampa Bay. And he's like, "Hey, G, don't worry, you can watch out for Warren." He trash talks a little bit. Rondé, he's okay, but he's a DB. But you gotta really watch John. John Lynch. So you got over 47 in his head. If not, he's gonna knock you out. He's gonna get you. And so I got in the game. It worked. So we worked Sunday in the game. Second play is a handoff. And right before the play started, we come out the huddle. Versus tip. I'm like, all right, this place. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, no. So I'm in my head, I'm like, oh God, please just let me get the first down or something, please. Because I couldn't find 47. I saw Rondé Barber, he was on the left side. He's a free technique, but he's right there in the middle. And I saw Derek Brooks, he's right there looking at me. He's like, I'm like, well, where's 47? I'm like, so all snap, I hit the ball, I cut back, and then there's 47. So he hit me. It was like Tommy Boy, right? It was like, I don't feel nothing here and nothing here, but here it's all dead. It was like, oh, my left side hurt for like a quarter. I'm like, okay, now I will not forget. Where 47's at. And then later in that game, I paid him back. I was always returning the same. So if you hit me, I'm bringing it right back at you. So I paid him back later in the game. There's no that.
Thank you. Any other questions out here? Anyone else got a question for Amon or Jared, Tom, Mitch? Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'm going back. All right, tell us your name, where you're from.
Charlie from Chicago.
He's in green and gold, though, y'all. Don't worry.
All right.
Proudly. What was it like coming back in 2009?
Ooh, it was fun because it was mid-season because I was with the Texans and I was ready to get out of there. It didn't go well. It was a rough 2.5 years there. It was injuries and I had life going. I had my stepdad passed away from cancer. As soon as I stepped in as on the roster, he died that October in 07 and 08. I had a GM that we kept butting heads, and it wasn't me. I was kind of team player, but he was worried about me being hurt or not hurt. I'm like, I bruised my knee. I can't play. I'm playing as much as I can, and I couldn't play a whole lot because it hurt like hell. I don't know if anybody have a bruised knee. Just know that.
Well, a lot of times it's the things that don't sound like they hurt a lot.
Correct. I had turf toe.
Horrible. But it sounds like they're. That is it.
Yeah, if you hear turf toe and then somebody's playing with it, they I had it in Nebraska, and I played on missed 2 games, and I played on it for a couple games, and then ended up breaking my foot at the end of the season. So yeah, it's a rough injury. So kneecap. So Texas, like I said, didn't end well. So I'm in shape, still working out, and mid-season they bring me. I get a phone call. I call Ted again, and I said, "Hey, I wanna, I'm still available." He said, "Well, we'll see. I'll talk to Coach McCarthy." And then Coach McCarthy comes on the phone, like, he's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Good." I said, "Man, I'm in shape. I'm working out." I was actually training down here with Tim Grover, trainer. If you remember that name, so he helped. Michael Jordan now, so I'm like, I'm gonna give him a shot, and he did. So I got me in shape. And his other coach, Malcolm, that's who I work with, Malcolm. But got in shape, and then about a month later, after that phone call, McCarthy was like, "Oh man, we gotta come on, you gotta hit that record." Because I was only like 47 yards short of the all-time league rusher, and that's so Mike McCarthy was part of the reason that he got me in, came in, did a quick little physical, and I was back. And so I'll say real quick, make it a quick story. That last game, that was the Cardinals game, the playoff game. Y'all remember that game? It was like 53 and the Cardinals won, right? In the face mask sack fumble, right? We called on here. So we played that game and in the locker room. So this is probably where you were at. You're at Nebraska. The second time when y'all lost to Florida State, right?
Yeah.
So we lose to Arizona. In the locker room, there was nobody with their head down. I looked at Aaron, I looked at Clay, I looked at Jordy, I looked at Greg Jennings. Nobody had their hair down. They were like, "Man, we were just one play away." And we did this in 09. And they have to again. 09 season wasn't good. They were like, so they we got to the Wild Four playoff. That was Wild Card game against the Cardinals. Wasn't a great year either. And so I knew then that was the team that was going to win the Super Bowl. That's because I know when y'all lost to Florida State and the way it went down, the referee, or it was either the fumble or the field goal. So explain that, how that feeling is,
Yeah, we lost the first national championship.
Yeah.
Florida State, and that kind of set the precedent for us. So the entire we kept the score from that game on the scoreboard every time we were in the state, just to make sure that we were focusing and to remember what it felt like. So yeah, we were dialed in.
Yeah.
And we went after that 2 years of loss.
Yeah. But that's what those guys did. Like, even though I wasn't on the team the next year, the 2016, but I felt the attitude. I talked to Greg Jennings, I talked to Donald Driver, Jordy, and they all saying like what I thought, what I was thinking was like when we lost it, we already knew that we were halfway there and then the Super Bowl next year. We already had the team that was there. We're all young guys, so nobody was traded, nobody got good. So it pretty much was a roster, like I mentioned in the beginning. There wasn't much change on it. And we still had Aaron, and then only spot that was a little loose. And Sharks, we ended up doing a fantastic job. Aaron, those guys from the Super Bowl as a rookie. I would love them. Who would have come, right? And so I was on the sidelines at the Super Bowl. I was behind it. So we're in Jerry's. So they had like a fan area behind the Packers, so I could see on the field watching them beat up on the Steelers. And it was pretty cool because the guy every now and then, like I remember Clay, he turned around and did this. He said, "Get over here." He like trying to get me over. I said, "Man, I have to say it." I'm like, I'm saying right here. But he was like, "You should be here." Like he understood. We know. So from that right there, for me, it was like, you know what? I'm good because if it was supposed to happen, I would have been on that side. It did. It's fine too. I'll watch them go out there and do their job. Good
All right.
question, by the way.
That was a good question. We got a question for Jared over here.
All right, guys. I really appreciate everything you guys done in the NFL for all your seasons and Thursday night, Friday night, Sunday night, Monday night football games. Really appreciate both of you guys watching. It's awesome. But Jared, I'd like to know, as a defensive end, what was the biggest hit you gave to a quarterback in your career?
The college was the one that my mom was talking about earlier. In pros, it was, I had, we played in such a great era. People behind the players that we played with, again, the Troy Aikmans, the Smiths, the John Elways, Dan Marinos. We played just an incredible era of guys. And I think one of my stories that I tell all the time was a sack that I had, and I come through the line, duck down, and have me go, put the move on me.
Yeah.
And I went right over it. Well, when I went over his back, I swung back from underneath him, basically lifted him up and
By
I had groin on the back. And it just sort of, and I remember popping up.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why I love podcasts. And you won't hear that. You won't hear that on the Instant Question.
It was all legal. We found it.
Yep. Oh man. All right. Good stuff. Oh man. So we got that's the Brown.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Let's put them on the spot.
Somebody step up to the mic.
I'll give a quick story while you're Well, I was in New Orleans for 4 years. Actually, with the Cardinals for a short bit. I heard not right after that. And my first practice, we were already 3-4 games into, and they brought me in. And nobody, I mean, for the most part, guys, you know, on the TV who I was, you know, and it wasn't like I was our first starter or a household name or anything else. But I could come in and I played with them on, and you know, we had mutual great respect for one another. And I remember after the practice, I said, put me in a locker right next to the bar. And I sat down after the first practice, and you know, I had to I was kind of beat. And I'm not come up with like two Gatorades out of nowhere. And just you know, just looking out for his, you know, older down. And I remember looking around the locker room and everything was like, this dude that I'm not really,
They didn't know.
before, but it's pretty funny that you know, the whole locker room was just looking at me. Who's this dude?
This guy's a big deal, apparently.
Yeah, he is. All right, you guys, Packer fans, you yell at me all the time and all that. And now I need to ask you a question. All right, so we knew about the draft, correct? All right, I didn't see a whole lot of hands.
Oh, we didn't hear you either.
We watched the draft. All right. So in the first, or what they didn't have no first round, the second round, if the Packers did have the first round pick, who would you pick? Anybody for that first round pick? Offense, I'll say keep it easy. Offense or defensive pick if they had a first round.
Jeremiah Love.
The running back for Notre Dame. Oh. So your question is that sick?
No.
You
Don't do it.
No,
Or
but he needs a replacement eventually.
okay, I like that inventory. We call that
Reloading.
Yeah,
Reloading.
reloading, right? Because that's me. I came in Nebraska. I was on the depth chart. So we had 4 guys in front of me that took me. They could play and started anywhere. You know, so having inventory is good. There you go. Next one. Next answer.
Caleb Downs.
That was a Ohio State player, right? Safety. Ohio State safety. And they had a solid defense. Yep. Okay. I like that because they need to. That's what they drafted. They drafted 2 corners, I believe. You know, anybody else? If you had a chance to beat Brian B. Moody for 1 first round pick, who would have you picked? Anybody else? Yeah.
As a non-biased Bears fan, you guys should put him in first rounder. You guys need receivers.
I didn't hear you.
Cornell Tate.
He said we need receivers.
What's up, G?
Oh, do we have the great figure in the house? The one and only Gilbert Brown is in the building. Super Bowl champion.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, here you go. Here you go.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
I said, hello, everybody. I told our mom, I said, if I was getting paid, I'd get up there with you. Since I ain't, hell no.
That's okay.
Love you. Hey, Green Bay Packers all-time watcher. Green. I walked to a person the other day and I said, hey man, I'm not gonna call y'all the Bears. What's up, Gary? What's up, Gary? All right, I'm gonna shut up. Go get me.
Perfect. No notes.
Yep. That was funny. My man G in the house. Hey, I'm telling y'all because he does not like Philip fans. He does not like their fans.
So that all you guys know, Green Bay, I was Gilbert's backup. So for 2 years, years that I was there, they put Gilbert in, goodness, for first down, second down, and things like that. And then if he was gassed, they bring me in, and then for the pass rush. So I was a little more of a ping pong ball and Gilbert.
Yeah, he was stacked. He was stacked. He didn't move.
More happy with yours now. It looks great. It looks great. That much too, but Gilbert really worked. I was 300 pounds. Gilbert had 100 pounds on me.
It was big then. You don't need it no more. Like we don't need that anymore. We good. All right, and I've gotten this question asked. And I'm pretty sure Jared too. So, man, what's the toughest part of trying to be a Packer fan over the field?
Everyone likes kind of crazy towards us, and like I have to share a story. We live like an hour from Chicago,
Right.
And the Bears mascot came, and so the Bears mascot came. He goes out and Bears stuff. He picked him out of the whole crowd and had him go on stage the whole time. Or the mascot the whole time he's like this looking down. He was only like 6 years old then.
You're famous.
Nice.
I will say I've got a couple of young Packers fans here that live in Chicago, and I heard this morning that mom sets out a Green Bay Packers hoodie for Cooper to wear to school. He doesn't want to wear it to school because he lives in Chicago and he doesn't want his friends to make fun of him. But like, I think Amon Green says you can wear it to
You can
school.
wear it. No problem.
You can wear it.
Support your team. That's what I'm saying.
So we're right in Northwest Indiana, where I grew up, and my boys, they were Packer stuff. They take off the heat and they give it right back to
You raised them right. Anybody else?
There is a tunnel going into Soldier Field that has very good acoustics. So they go through that tunnel, and it doesn't matter who they're playing, they chant Green Bay sucks in that tunnel. Every single game at the end of the game. And the first time I heard it, I'm innocently going into the playing it low key as a Packer fan, go to a Bears game.
Right.
And a 6-year-old boy picks up the chant, and everyone is going. Hundreds of people.
Oh man.
They do it every single game. We're so in their heads.
Okay. It does work. It does work.
That's my big sis, by the way. That's my sister Kelly in the card. She's a Packers fan.
But I have to tell a story on this too.
Okay.
So not only during football season, I was at the Cubs game the other day, and they were still chanting Packers. I was like, seriously? Living rent free in Chicago's head year round. Year round.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Real one there. Real one there.
I don't want to age myself, but the reason of which I think I'm a Packers fan in Chicago, one is my dad's from Houston, so I lean that way, but I grew up with Michael Jordan and Brett Favre. Well, I can't remember the 30 quarterbacks that the Bears had back then. Like Michael Jordan, Brett Favre. That was the greatest of all time.
Yeah, we were in that time.
Yeah.
Over that. I mean, I could say that for Brett. He was on everybody, because I remember my first year in Green Bay, and I'm just getting to know Brett. And of course, we had like interviews after camp practice, training camp practice, they're asking me questions like, how long do you think Brett's going to play? And I'm like, I barely know him, I'm like, but he's played for 10 years in. I'm like, I don't know. He's still playing at 10. I think he's doing pretty good. And he got a Super Bowl. Was at a Super Bowl for that. So it was just like that.
Yeah, it was a cool dynamic for Brett to come on that team, because you have at that time, number one guys in the NFL, and he could be in jeans and a flannel and super humble. So that set the precedent for the whole team. He set the precedent, it was a couple of years that I was there, a very whole team. Everybody, got along fantastic because right. He was getting off, and everybody else just worked, right? There was no space for me. There was no space for any. It was a really neat thing to be part of.
For sure. Brett had the leadership, just did things. I remember one time, it was my second year, it was an old 1 seed, and after we got to practice, just out of the blue, Red Batty kept up with me, it's like, come on, come to this equipment with me. I'm like, okay. I was like, it's kind of weird, like, this is you right now, and then like, am I in trouble? But I go back behind, it's like, pass. It was a part of the locker room was shoulder pass set. So Red had put like a picnic table, bar tables right here in the middle. It was big enough for the table and chairs, a bench. When I go in there, Brett, Leroy, Dorsey, Peterson, and I think Gilbert wasn't in there, but we all like. It was a cook in there that he brought some shrimp boy. I'm assuming from Louisiana or Mississippi, where he's from. And he brought me in there too. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's sitting there eating
good stuff.
Right, yeah, good stuff, right? And so I was like, oh, I felt kind of like I arrived. One of my teammates, brought me in the room where all the other leaders were in. The guys from defense and guys on offense. I guess I'm on my level now, so I earned that respect. It was like pretty cool to sit there and eat lunch with practice. Yep.
That is. Do you have other questions for these fans? You still going? We're chatting now. You got them. You got them going. I love it.
Please get the Bears still start chat here.
Oh, we sure can. You does it better than me, but I don't like doing it either. All right, y'all ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey, I love that dude. That's my man right there. Yep. Oh man, I'll say. Any other questions? Oh,
When was your first Lambo Leap?
what was my first
Lambo Leap.
My first Lambo Leap? Ooh, you know what? I gotta go back and watch the film.
Check the tape.
It's 2000. I was saying the Packer in 2000. I just gotta go look at the tape to see what game it was. Because I remember going against Minnesota, where it's only and I remember Cat having a receiving touchdown. And I'm thinking, I don't even know if I even understand, but I know it was in the 2000 season. Sure, but I know several experiences Lambo Leap ended with like back in everything. I was like, and it did broke. Broke several times. Maybe in end zones.
So that's a PSA. If they're Lambo leaping, hands to yourself.
I did that a lot.
Oh yeah. Don't do that.
Yep. Oh, she might be watching. She already know that. Then Stacy was living it. She made the squares. Thank you, Stacy. Yep. You're welcome. All right. We need to wrap it up. We got a couple more. I say questions. Anybody?
Any other questions for Amon or Jared?
Me or Jared? If not, I'm gonna ask a couple more. Then I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Had a good time.
I'm wondering who your teammate was and a good story.
What is teammate? I say Green Bay. I know I had a funny dude in Seattle. It was Reggie Brown. He was a fullback. I gotta talk to Mr. Brown about this. He was from Reggie was from Detroit. We heard about it every day. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Okay. This is the season. We know you're from Detroit. Why are you still talking? oh, because Detroit is like this and that. He's telling me about. But so my thing was because he would always talk about his talent, and then he talked about how good he was, but he was okay. Because he was a fullback that didn't do fullback stuff. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I'm like, man, you don't really talk so much. But you don't play all the time. And he tried to tell jokes on. But he did have one good joke because we had Ricky Waters, one of our teammates. And he set us up, he set us up for failure. And remember, Ricky Waters put out an album. I don't know if you do that. So before he became a Seahawk, when he was a Niner, he rapped for us. He had a whole rap album. And of course, how our locker rooms, the locker room, if you think you can spit the first, you better be Tupac. You better bring it. Because if not, sometimes what happened was he put the CD in the stereo. Not only did we like talk about it on the band, but that Kennedy came in and grabbed. You remember that scene? It was either Indian Sunday where the radio was playing and somebody broke the radio. Yeah. That scene just happened. That was actually real to life. So that scene what the hell is that? What is that noise? It hurt my ears. He used to, and so he harassed Reggie harassed Ricky all year. Hey man, what's up with the new album? Every day. Hey, Reggie, doing that. Ricky.
All right, we got another question back here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, who talked the most smack on the practice field?
Yeah. In the games, it was
the game was
different. It was in the games. I can still remember players like Michael Irving, Shannon Sharp. Just you wonder how they're running because
it takes energy. That's all you do.
As far as our own team, not too much.
Not too much. A little bit in practice.
Especially Green Bay, there really wasn't anybody talking too much.
I mean, you have between your position, offense, defensive line.
Yeah.
Y'all get fed up with each other.
Yeah. Like when I was playing, like just practicing, like Marco Rivera,
Now Marco, he was
they just offensive.
Yeah. I would say playing against Tampa Bay, Warren Sapp ran his mouth a lot. And he would get in dialogue with Brett. And I'd be like, Brett,
why do you repeat it?
Exactly. What are you doing? Like, you've been here longer than me. Why are you talking to him? And he'd be like, AG, come here. Warren talking to me. He'd be like, oh man, how you doing? And I'm like, he's like, we're gonna get you the next player. You're gonna fumble the ball. I'm like, go. And then Brett and him, they sit there and talk for them like they have the parent teacher conference. Yeah. Like, they're sitting in the middle of the field, like, bro, get the play call. But yeah, he would get Brett going all the time. But I say he backed it up most of it. It was more sad. Yeah, it was a deal.
All right, Nick has a question back here.
Just curious your thoughts on this year. Obviously, elite talent, top of the depth chart. Maybe some question marks after that.
Well, they got question marks because they got to get through, but having we got Josh a couple years ago. I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, they have him come in, and there's a guy that I was already watching, football, and that's one of the running backs I watched. Him, John Robinson. I think of a few more guys. Seeing him come here I told him when I finally met him in the regular season, to do what you did is tough. To come in year one or with a new team, that means obviously you are the playbook and your style of offense or style of running didn't change from one team to the other. You have to change. The second, proud for him to be able to do that and become a Pro Bowler. That's rare. You switch teams and then first year right off the bat, you become a Pro Bowler. And the way he runs, what I love, you know, out shoulder on people and he gets 2 yards when he can. And catches the ball, he does everything. It's fun to watch. So the room itself, but for me, I got, like I said, that's a preseason and then we'll see how everybody, because even, you know, having last year, Matt Wilson, nice go back on that. I think the biggest guy to have now, he's on too because how good he did. It's interesting. So that's all it went.
All right, we got Izzy has a question here.
What was the coolest thing you made?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Good question.
I know. In Nebraska, I remember my. What was it? No, I thought it was freshman year because we had 2 years together. So I think it was maybe the second year. In Lincoln was. I think it might have. No, I thought it was Iowa State. I was thinking Iowa State, but that was my junior. But for Green Bay, real quick, Lambeau, we played the playoff game. It was 35 degrees. And it wasn't too bad for me. But no, sorry, I got one. That was the first year. It was a kickoff 0, and at the end of the game, it was negative 35. That's what it was. And the sun was out. Yes, and the sun was out. I was like, this is not Nebraska. Like, what is going on here? So, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think that was my second year there. So 3, we had a playoff game. And it was right around 0.
That was 49.
Yeah, we didn't go further. But there was a rule on the books that if it was below 34 degrees, you could put, when you didn't put gasoline on your arm.
Yeah, defensive players.
Yeah. So every time you had that opportunity, you put gasoline on, you didn't put sleeve. So then as soon as the referees would like pat you down, check you out, you take all that Vaseline on your arm, rub it on your jersey, make sure that nobody holds it. Right. That's how I did that.
That's pretty good. Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Talking a little bit about last week's draft, what was the most important thing that the Packers did last week?
Well, they drafted for needs.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know this is players. You draft what you want. You don't look at the pretty shiny toy. Like the pretty shiny toy might be a first round wide receiver, cornerback that runs a 41 or 42, 40. But that's not what you need. You need a tackle. You need a right tackle. You need an edge rusher, or you need a first round quarterback. So they did. They went for the defensive player. I got it. Let's see.
They got C-Stay, we have 52, Chris Clellan.
They got the 2 backs that they needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Really well.
Absolutely. And the one offensive player that they got was an offensive lineman.
And that's always, I say, every year, any team positions in the early rounds, you're doing good.
Do you expect any of these draft picks to get coming season?
I say defensively, possibly. Oh, yeah. It's not a big position defensively. Yeah, college pro.
They should be able to step right. At least stepping in by tackle. If you're a higher end draft pick, you really should be solidified and by half. Give yourself time to pick the game and pick things up. But by then, if you're late, you should be in.
All right, so real quick, I'm gonna bring a friend of mine up. That I'm gonna break all the rules right now.
Oh,
I got a good friend, Jason McKee, who is a Bear.
Well, let it slide.
Come on, Matt. Come on, build it. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's right there. Right there. So we can coexist. Yeah. We can.
Somewhat.
So J-Mac, he does local, ESPN, Bears coverage, and fullback for Texas A&M. Coaches in the area now. Actually, Jared got a kid on his high school team, Trey Taylor. That's one of our, I say, soon to be, well, he's going to be on campus in this year or next year. So he got another year, so 2027.
Okay.
So we can close it, right? We can do this. We've been knowing each other for a while.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's like we understood, like we as players, we understood rivalry, right? And like for this rivalry here, I'll set you up with the first time when I was a Packer and it was Bear Week. I'm taking the garbage out. And so it's like early, it's an off day, so it's Tuesday. So I'm at home, taking the garbage out. I'll go by. Hey, what? It's still soft. And I'm like, for us, rivalry from college to even high school. I keep it here for this. For us, it was more on the fans than us because we knew what the game was, right? It was either we had our game plans down, and then also our where we were in. You know, it was either we were in for the playoffs, but we knew, okay, we want to win this game, but if we lose this game, we still got to play for make it to the playoffs, or we got to play for next season. So that's kind of how it wasn't nothing personal at all. You know, because I know some of y'all that we talked earlier, y'all get like with each other in the stage, y'all have to do that to each other. We just talk about how we develop a friendship, but still we understand the respect side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know the Bears Packer regions. Sports, let's see TV. It's always a prime time game, and for us at practice, with a lot more extra going on. So extra work, practice, extra film study, extra weight. Because it was Bears Packer weekend. We didn't want to be on the wrong side. And especially if you lose that. One thing to lose it during the season, but you got to hear about it all season.
Yes.
You can lose every game on your schedule and lose in this thing.
Correct.
Exactly. So it's exciting for Riley to be a part of. It's almost like a playoff game. Yeah, it is. It's a playoff game. Yeah, well, everybody stepped it up a little bit during the playoff. Yeah, and it talk about home field advantage, it definitely a big part. But for me and some of my teammates, we love going up there.
Right.
And if you came up with a W up there, then it was even better. But just the environment, the way that it's set up there, and I was up there last year for the game, and changed everything around, and made it friendly. Yes. The more part of the whole ambiance. I think it's probably a special place by history. It is really great to be a part of that rivalry. Like, a lot of great players that for that jersey and their jersey. Oh yeah, fishing. Right.
Yeah. So we meet and tell me what.
So my older, and I obviously played fullback position, so always had a special bond with running backs. I played during my time in Chicago. And obviously a college football fan, and Ron is the University of Nebraska. One of my favorite players in college. And somebody that did the right thing on and off the field, produced on the field. Really not that they had on the field.
Right.
But when I said that, one of my favorite running backs, you're the only Packer that built that ball, and he's always been like a good brother to me, but business person.
Yeah. And so with that story, for me, was my favorite running back is walking around. Somebody walking around with this jersey right now. So my favorite running back was Walter Payton. And
yeah.
So nobody found that. Nobody found out about it because they weren't trying to come to the university and take me in Seattle. I was just that kid from Nebraska. But once I got here and then I got in the rivalry, and it didn't really. I mean, it didn't hit me until the first time we played, which I think that season we played. Where you were Ryan college thing, but I think 2000 we played. Was it first down there and first up there? Okay, you remember? Okay, so either way, like I said, Walter Payton was my guy, and he was funny. Remember Fleet? Brian Eagle, he's the head trainer now. So I walked into this, and he has a Walter Payton show, and he has his jersey on the wall, and I'm walking in there like, oh, and this is in Lambeau. He's one of the trainers. And he's the head guy now. So shout out to Brian Eagle. He was a fan, even though he grew up. I can't remember what town he grew up around Illinois, but he grew up a Walter Payton fan. So I walk in his office and they getting treatment. I'm like, "What's up?" He just started talking. And he was talking about Walter Payton this, Walter Payton that. We didn't talking. Well, Walter Payton, like walking by, like, what y'all talking about? Like, don't worry about it. Because that dude. I know Jared, his son, very well. I was trying to get him here too, but he has kids and they're in the AAU stuff. So I'm like, hey, you got to be a parent first. Handle that. And so just that, friendship grew. Just watching the way, kind of like Jason said, watching me being his favorite running back, and me watching Walter was just like, this is how you run the ball. This is what my brother told me when I was little. He said, you're going to watch the running back run the ball. This is one of the guys you need to watch. I watched him. I watched Marcus Allen. They got the ball. Somehow they did they did their job, right? They're aggressive, fast. They caught the ball in the backfield. They did everything what a running back does. And sometimes when you weren't playing running back, because I know in high school I didn't always play running back. I played on defense. I played linebacker. So it was just being a football player. Because we saw Walter Payton do that, right? He field goals or something. He threw the ball very well. And he would have back toss. Yeah, so just something like that. That's how he basically, for my childhood and other probably, I'm not the only guy that's a Walter Payton fan that wasn't a Bear. So he influenced me in that way. And so, and regardless of the game, so that's why my boys here, like, we got a rivalry, but we know where it starts and where it ends. Trust me, I'm seasoned. That's what I call along with Jay. I'm gonna use that. Yeah, I liked it. I had a friend of mine. She said that we're on this podcast, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm seasoned." I said, "I like that, Dixie." I'm not seasoned, and I stole it from her. But no, we've had good times. We've had time down here a lot. And I've done the show. I'll be on the show again probably this year. Talking football, Packers, Bears, as usual. We did last time. Anything you want to drop before
I think the rivalry is going to be one of the top rivalries in sports. I heard you mention there's been a lot of good players, and I'm glad they got a lot of good players because there will be no excuses when the Bears dominate again. Okay, they left. I think NFC North as a whole is going to be one of the top teams in the league. Like it was last year. A lot of great players, a lot of great coaches. Obviously, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got Gannon from the Cardinals. Exactly. So we'll see 3-4 defense. Yeah. So they drafted for that, which is good. Yeah. Guys that can be off the ball, right? And play the flat or play the edge a little bit differently than a 4-4 or line, a 3-4 linebacker or a 4-3 linebacker. Right.
Ben Johnson.
Yes.
Because of Ben Johnson. On offense and another year of development for Caleb and another year for so it's going to be, fireworks for this rivalry for years to come. And it's exciting for both Packers fans and Bears fans. The rivalry continues to be on the forefront of the I don't know about the record. I don't know. I don't care about that. I will been there. I'm like 62.
There you go.
They're in our stand.
Hey,
I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know what they did the past 4
Right.
years, despite what they did this year. I don't know.
yeah, I had a neighbor. I moved to Houston. My neighbor's a Bear fan. I moved from Green Bay, Wisconsin, to Houston, Texas, and actually I came. That's who Katie. I was here during the season, and Katie met his brother. So his brother and I came here because I came during the season. It wasn't for a game; it was for something else. Not too long ago, but yeah, it was like I moved all the way to Texas, and I'm living next to a Bear fan. And then
That's rude.
I love it.
Like, there's something about this. I don't know. I'm not supposed to kick it. I'm like, why is that? Like, and then my wife's a Bear fan.
What?
Yeah. She graduated from Bolingbrook High School.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Real good. Right. So, Marie, my wife, she love her to death. She watched this too. But this was even though this was a season for y'all, I still couldn't tell the difference between y'all winning and losing with her watching the game. She's yelling at the TV the same way, and I'm like, what? Wait. I'm looking at the score, like, wait, the Raiders won 2 touchdowns. And I'm like, what's the problem? She's like, well, Caleb is doing this. I don't like him. I'm like, it's the best thing you got. Hey, I'm a commentator first. Okay? I gotta be the best thing going. Right. He's a good quarterback. I'm like, I'm confused when Marie's watching the game. I'm just a little confused because she's throwing stuff at the TV. I'm like, y'all winning. What's wrong?
She's used to losing eventually.
And that's what she said. She does say that. She's like, y'all, I'm like, don't put y'all. I'm not y'all.
No, we're different. Sorry.
I'm gonna do a book for all Chicago.
Don't do it.
You are in territory.
Oh man.
Oh, in the Packers barn. I love it. It's a great barn. I respect all the Packers fans that came out to put my guys right here. You know, obviously, you have to play at a high level. Guys have to perform at a high level. So I respect that 1,000%. I'm thankful for Amon inviting me here. I'm glad that I can come in and invade Packerpalooza. I think it's good. You gotta come here and keep my feet out the right. Flex a little bit because of the way the record went this year. But let's go. You guys get any ideas? Everybody wants to jump in like that. I got a whistle. I got my dogs ready. All my bears gonna be done. Oh.
Fun fact about Amon's wife is when she was at the Packer games, she'd have Bears t-shirts underneath her stuff.
Yes, she did. You wore a Walter shirt or just a Bears shirt under my jersey. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, you're hilarious. You're hilarious. And the rule was though, when we got together, we got married and everything, she moved in. I said, hey, the only time you can wear a Bears anything is during that one game. The other 14 games, you got to wear my jersey. I'll give you 2 games. I'll give you 2 games.
That's generous.
I said, give you 2 games a season. That's it. And she took it. Trust me, she took it. Yeah,
well, I mean, going up to Indiana, right? It's all their country down there, right? I remember I went up to Green Bay and worked out and signed. I still remember calling my grandma and like, hey, Grandma, just want to let you know I signed. She's all excited. She's my biggest fan. I said, where you at? I'm up in Green Bay. It was 5 minutes of silence. And I'm happy for you, honey. That was it.
Oh, my goodness.
If the Bears fans die hard, the whole Packers fans.
The rivalry, it hits different.
Yeah, it hits different. It hits good. So one more question for Jim, and we'll shut this thing down. So what was, as a Bear, your favorite moment? I feel like it's beating us. Yeah. If it was Lambeau, if it was Green Bay, so not bad because it's just you get that first one. You know, what was that like?
Well, he did win the Super Bowl back in '66. Guys, first game up there at Lambeau, and the score was 26-0. We had a really good defense.
Yep.
Had a great season. So playing the Super Bowl, they win the Super Bowl, but so go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think that was my moments. Playing at Lambeau. I always enjoyed Lambeau, like I said, just because of how hostile it is. I can recall driving in on the team bus. We over on the side of the road and there's road and actually driving in, right? You see generations of hatred. So you see Papa give you the middle finger. You see Grandma give you the middle finger. You see mom, dad give you a middle finger, right? You see brothers give you the middle finger. And then you see a baby in a stroller. Crazy place. The stadium has so much history. Great players. The Packers uniform. There's so many great players. If you want a Bears uniform, they're playing that round, but they're supporting that Lambo. And that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Moment.
Yeah, so my minds came in this season when Monday Night Football and they reopened the stadium.
I remember.
Found like 85 players. So I'm like, in my head, I'm like some Richard Den on it. Like, I'm getting hyped, like fanboying in my head, even though I'm wearing green to go now. This is my brain and heart. Like, oh my God, this is 85 Bears. I said, but I'm a Packer and I got to go out and do my job. And so, how I focused up, I was like, well, Walter would do to run the damn ball. So I was like, I got to run the ball, even though I saw those guys, right? I saw them guys come on the field. They waved their hands. I'm like, man, those were the dudes on the 8th. With my guy running the ball, Jimmy McMahon, quarterback, Willie, all those guys. You know, the season was playing sport, and be a fan of, you know, what they did. To me, it was like it was a little battle, but I was like, look, I'm in a Packer uniform. I gotta go out here and talk this rock. You know, and we went out there, even though it was the dedication of the stadium and all that. It's like, look, I know Walter. If he was my coach, he'd be like, you better run that ball. That's what, because I know Jared is son. You know how he raised him. So it's just one of those like crazy dynamics, and just being a fan of the game. Like, you know, it's fun and to be a part of it. Like for us, we were able to walk on those fields, go in the locker room, have fun, trash talk or whatever. And then for you as fans, y'all get to experience that, right? You know, so I was able to go. I remember I was doing a talk show up in Green Bay, and my wife Marie, she was in the stands waiting for me to get to the game, and she said she was in the stadium, Lambeau Field. Packers fans trash talking her. It was the game where Aaron broke his collarbone. Monday Night Football, where I think y'all won, the Bears won, but we had Packer fans talking trash to Marie because she's like, she's wearing and she had on my jersey, and it was because she was a Bears fan. You know, it was hilarious. I'm like, this is so across weird dynamic. Got to talk about it. So that's and she survived. She survived. And the funny part about it is all the Packer fans, because she was killing them the whole game. My husband's a Mon Green, he's coming to the game. And they obviously didn't believe her. When I got to the game, I mean, they were throwing stuff at her. She had like beer on her, she had pizza, everything. And when I got to the stands, they're like, oh my, can you sign this? I'm like, no, get out of here. No, I can't do that. I can't do that, man. It would be a problem, because I know fans, a little on the East Coast, they get too rough.
Yeah.
They're in the darker green, and green and white and black.
Or on the West Coast.
Or on the West Coast.
I have to play the Raiders.
But their fans were fun. But I'll say the team, it's in PA. They wear the dark green. Yeah. They fans, they have a in their stadium in Lincoln Financial. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't know the team by now, you don't watch football. But those fans, they take it too free trash. So you don't do it for me. But have fun with it. You know, and keep it going. Yeah, keep going.
for the next generation of football players. They're gonna have maybe we gotta have respect for one another because if we don't, we're gonna get run off the field. You know, if you don't prepare, right? If you didn't get ready, you didn't hit your assignments. Same with Mike, same with Jared. You know?
Well, what I love is I talk to fans all across, from all across the country, right? When they come to Green Bay, they say we have the jerseys, like you want a beer, you want a brat, you want some cheeseburgers. So we keep it fun, but we gotta keep it
fun. I say
keep it friendly.
Fun. Keep it fun. Keep it fun and friendly. There it is. There it is. So on that note, I'm gonna say, Jared, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for jumping on the mic. Hey, Mac. Appreciate you. All right, Rebecca. Good work.
Come on.
Good job, fans. Thank you. This has been fun, and we here.
Yeah.
All right, for you fans. So thank you. My first Packerpalooza, looking for many more down the road. And for the gamers, episode 294, I believe so. In the books. Thank you guys, and let's get a goal. Pack goal real quick. 1, 2, 3. Go! Pack, go! Go! Pack, go! There we go. All right. We out.
All right, Packers fans, give it up one more time for Amon Green's Gamers Lounge podcast. His special guests. You make it, share it, wherever you get your podcast. And now, DJ Martin McFly is going to keep things moving and grooving. It's time for our meet and mix and mingle with one, not for three Packers legends. So let's kick it off. Let's go. I do want to tell y'all that we have about 10 spins left in the meat raffle. About 10. Check the meat raffle until we sell them all right inside. Right inside to the left of the patio. So we got the meat here. Is that the new Wells? Is that the new Wells slogan? It's from Packerpalooza Meat Market, which is the best.
Yeah.
So 5 rounds of meat. We're getting real.
Yes. Let me break this down. And then I'll be ready.
Get that inside as well. $5 tickets or 5 tickets for $20. We got autographed Packers memorabilia. We've got football helmets, all signed. We've got jerseys. We got the Year of Champions book. We got so much in there too. Make sure you get in that section. Option as well. So check out what's up in that option. Place your bid. That will close at 3:30. And all the proceeds, y'all, from the raffle goes to vocal.
Good job.
So this
Mark.
Get your raffle right inside.
So
I'm gonna see how it's